Welcome to Titan Video. I'm here with head coach Bob Ammann, his 8th year with the men's soccer program. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, Coach, the season is sure to be an exciting one, but first of all, I've got to ask you the obvious question. You have 16 new guys on this team with 13 returners. I mean, what are you going to do to try to remember the names? Are they all wearing name cards or something?
I'm not that old. My hard drive is still free enough that I can remember them. So, first couple days, there were mistakes. Give them a little nickname, but I've got them all down now.
All right. Well, just in time for the season then, huh?
Yep.
But in all seriousness, I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but you put your guys through a pretty tough spring this season, doing some things that you hadn't done in years past. Can you talk about some of the things you put your team through to get ready for the season?
Well, first we wanted to put them in conditions that were as challenging as possible, and that started with getting them out of bed bright and early. They had to be out of bed by 5. We had to be in the weight room by 6, and so for many of them that was a challenge in itself. And then apart from the weight program, we had a very challenging spring schedule. And on top of the challenges of the actual schedule was the challenges of having a very, very small squad. So all the players that we had played just about every minute of every game. That became challenging when we played back-to-back games and tried to maximize the spring opportunities that we did have.
When you look ahead now, I mean, obviously, we've talked about it a little bit. You've lost some important pieces, Jesse Escalante, Bobby Reese, Gerzon Blanco. I mean, the list goes on, but you do have one of the league's most dynamic players in Ian Ramos coming back as a junior. I mean, he put up points in 4 of the last 6 games he played last season. How big is he going to be for you guys coming back?
I think he's going to be a very big weapon, as he was last year, and I think the potential for him is even greater. The reason he started to do that when teams had scouting reports about him. And so it was clear that their intention was to stop Ian. With the players that we have now and the dynamic of number of players that we have now, it's going to be extremely challenging for teams to do that. We have other players that will just make Ian that much better and that much more dangerous.
Before we talk about this season, let's reflect on last season a little bit. I mean, you guys started, it was a pretty remarkable turnaround, honestly. I mean, you guys started winless in your first 5 conference games in the cellar. Things weren't looking good, but then you won 4 of your final 5 regular season games to get yourself into the Big West tournament. How much momentum can you take from last season, and how much do you talk about last season's finish on how you started this year?
Well, you hope that the momentum continues. When you have over 50% new players that are coming for the first time that hadn't experienced that, you hope that the leadership of the returners kind of rubs off on them. But the reality is just to set the standards high right from the beginning, which is something that we've done, and hope that as our returners are continuously striving for that higher level, that the new players jump right in and not only strive with them but push them, and hopes that we can continue that. One of the things that was very, very clear and evident was we had a winning record at home, we had a winning record in a neutral site, but we were not very good on the road. And so we've made it a big goal of ours to make sure that our road performances is that much better.
What do you think the turning point was last season? I mean, how do you go from that tough start and finish the way you guys did?
I think it was, the boys just buckling down, to be real honest. We made some tactical changes that I thought, made us better. But, if you go back and you look at the games, they were all close games. And we happened to make, a mistake at the wrong time. And in college soccer, with the parity between all the teams, you can't make mistakes like that. And if you do, you're going to come out on the short end. The important thing was to be honest with ourselves and understand that those were the reasons. It wasn't that we were a bad team by any means, and we just had to minimize those, and then the results would turn around.
Now shifting to 2013, let's break down this year's team a little bit. Let's start up top with the strikers and the midfielders. I know this is a group you're pretty excited about coming in.
Very excited, not only for the quality of the players, but what it allows us. You know, we can play a number of ways. We can show a number of different dimensions. So it's going to be very challenging for teams to have a game plan to stop us. Not only are we really talented, we're also very deep in that category. So we've got players that have some great physical tools and technical tools that will be a challenge for defenses. That obviously is very exciting, and yes, although we lost Jesse and Garzon, who were leading goal scorers for us, I think that although you can't necessarily replace guys, we've done a very, very good job of bringing in some extremely talented players that are not only talented but also experienced and have had success, and I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, can you talk about some of those guys, particularly some of the transfers you brought in? I mean, while you guys are young on paper, you have 5 transfers, and that says a lot. There's a big difference between a transfer and a freshman.
Absolutely, and these transfers have all had success where they've been. Amara Suma, Mark Fenelis, these are players that are junior college All-Americans that have scored lots of goals and been successful and carried teams that hadn't been successful, and because of their input and success, the team was that much greater. You got a player like Garrett Losi, who is an experienced player, very, very talented, and not only is he coming in with 2 years of eligibility, but he's also much older than that because he was a transfer from BYU, was 2 years on his mission, so he's even that much more mature, and someone that just in the game last night, a couple days into training, you see the talent and the ability that he has.
No doubt, no doubt. Now let's shift to defense. I mean, obviously some holes to plug in there. Most notably the goalkeeper position. Who are some guys you expect to step up on the defensive end?
Well, in goal, it's a 2-horse race. With Adam's departure to the ministry, Brian and Robbie both will be vying for that position. Both of them really played equal amounts last year, so they both know that they're both coming in with an equal shot, and whoever steps up and shows that it's their position will step into that role. Defensively, the leader in the back is Furman. He is someone that is just Mr. Steady Eddie, not real flashy, but just does the work day in and day out. We also have some experience in Jaime, who is a senior, although last year was his first year. I think that the spring was very, very good for him as well, and we're looking forward to good things from him. And then we do have some spots that we're looking for competition. Right now, I would say defensively we have the most question marks, and so in the next 11 days we're looking for players to step up and really show that it's a position from them. We've got some good young players, talented players, but right now there's not a clear-cut favorite.
Kind of alluded to this before a little bit, the road struggles from a year ago. 6 of your first 8 games, well actually 6 of your first 7 games are away from Titan Stadium. 6 of 8 non-conference games overall. I think that's actually the most since 2008. Can you talk about that schedule a little bit? I mean, you've got ranked opponents against Cornell and San Diego. I mean, it's not going to be an easy road for you guys.
Right. Well, I mean, there's no real science in scheduling. Scheduling is usually done, at least 2 years out. The way that it worked with our away legs, we were at LMU last year. We have them at home. We had USD at home. We're down there. Northridge and us always flip-flop tournaments, so it happens to be at their site this year. So those 2 very good opponents at a neutral site. And then, it's very important that we get out of region. And so we're going to be going out of region for some very good games against tough opponents. And, the group has been highlighted to our need to do better on the road. And what better way than to put them right in it and say, all right, now's the test.
No doubt. Speaking of the road trips, I mean, you have such a young team. Are road trips kind of a way that maybe the team can bond during the season?
Yeah, and to be real honest, I've seen that the team bond real well already in our preseason. You know, they've been very religious in getting together even before we started, doing fitness and working out, and so the camaraderie of the group is very, very good. Very, very like a team that has been together for a while, and I think the beauty of that is that we have a number of new players that are also older. So there's not this divide of all the new players are young freshmen. We have a good mix of new players that are older and experienced, and then we have a good mix of the youngers that don't have as much experience.
All right, we'll end it on this note then. When people think of Cal State Fullerton this year, what do you hope is the first thing that comes to their mind?
Hardworking, difficult to play against, and a winner.
Coach Ammann, thanks for your time, and all the best of luck this season.
Thank you.